Okay, so we're here at Hyde Park. We just got here and we just want to get a general vibe of why people are here and why this is important. So my man, why are you here today?
Why am I here? Yeah, it's pretty simple. Our governments are completely failing us, and scientists are screaming from the top of their voices that we need to radically change the way we're living. So yeah, in the resistance of like governments that just refuse to change, then like this is almost like our last resort. Like we're moving into the stage of civil resistance. Instead of like just telling people, those in power, what not to do, we're actively going to stop them from doing it. So yeah, in a nutshell.
Yeah, like it's past the point of signing petitions and talking to the MPs, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What would you say to the people out there? I've noticed on the periphery, those people that seem to just not believe the truth. What is your commentary on that? Like, it's very, very strange, very... You know, what do you say about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd say that's like a highlight of how much influence the media have, basically. Like, you know, the media are have a narrative that they want to put forward to like discredit or spread doubt.
Yeah.
You know, like the status quo, these people that are in influential positions profit from this system.
Yeah,
it's a system that like rewards them, so they want to keep hold of it as long as possible. So yeah, they can spread doubt, and then that doubt will seep into the general population, and a lot of people will buy into that narrative. I mean, you can see that now with the Ukrainian war and the refugees. So, you know, when we have...
people taking sides?
When we had, like, the refugee crisis... Well, we've got refugee crisis all over the world. You know, Syrian, Pakistanis, people from Yemen, right? And you can see that in the the Daily Mail, etc. It's like these people coming over to our countries are basically, like, benefit scroungers or whatever.
Yes.
But when it's, like, people from Ukraine... We talk about like they show the side of like how welcoming our country is. So I mean, like, yeah, just there you can just see how much of an influence the media has. And like, you know, our best form of defense is just radical truth. It's just being honest, being completely, you know, lead by example, speak our truth. And eventually, like, you know, that will seep into the general population. But it takes time. When we're up against like such powerful industries, then it's going to be really hard.
Yeah. We're not here to be popular. We're not here to be liked. We're here to spread a message of truth.
Basically.
Thanks very much, man. Appreciate that. Respect. Cool. Why is this so important, and why are you here?
Why am I not going to be here? I think that's the question we should be asking.
Wow,
you know, because it is like we've gotten to a place in this world of where we are seeing the chaos that we are talking about like it's in the future happening now. We're seeing further polarization. We're seeing people becoming more and more disconnected with nature and the climate and the human suffering that comes with the climate crisis. So it's like, why would I not be here? You know, and I love this movement. Imperfect with all its problems. It's a movement that comes together in order to fight, in order to come and hold people accountable, and that's so powerful. And that's what democracy is about. It's about being an active citizen, and this is definitely one step to be one.
Awesome. What do you say to those people who try to critique us for our flaws, shall we say? Being imperfect humans, showing up, non-judgment, trying to do something?
Then I think, I love critique, but then come here and help us change things. You know?
Offer alternative lines of thought.
Offer alternatives and let's do it, you know, because it's about how can we refine this movement. It's not about being perfect. It's about embracing the imperfections, but then also understanding it's very easy to stand from the outside and shake your finger. It's a lot harder to get stuck in and change things.
Yeah, like when you're in the circle looking around, it's very different to being on the outside looking in.
Exactly. And I feel like a lot of people from the outside, they don't see the beauty in the movement, you know, and I feel like once they step in, they kind of have like...
Know that it's all love and community and healing, development. I love it.
So definitely I think it's about like just come in and take part, you know, even if you think it's imperfect. That's like why we need you, you know.
Thank you so much for your time. What would you say say to those people that watch this type of stuff and think that like we're the crazy ones, or like we've got it twisted and sort of just believe like whatever the media have to say and don't think about it and trust the government and that sort of thing?
I would say that a popular movement of this scale that takes this much risk with people's personal liberties, the sacrifices people are making, should speak loud and clear about the seriousness of the issue. It is a movement full of ordinary folks. There are loads of families, there are loads of scientists, there are loads of doctors, and if you're not sure about it, then just track some down online and meet people and see what you think, you know?
How fucked are we?
We're massively fucked. Yeah, it's severe. I was just chatting to a scientist about it. You know, there are a lot of people talking about the need to do geoengineering.
Like controlling weather?
Yeah, so I find that terrifying because a lot of the proposals are untested. Some of them hold fairly big risk, I think, in terms of like unpredictable outcomes. But some people are saying that we really have no choice because we've got so much warming baked in that there's going to need to be some response of that nature. And you know, when people say, oh, should we do geoengineering or not, well, we've done it. We have done geoengineering. That's what carbon emissions have done, you know. So yeah, it's a very frightening time, and people are talking about things like least regret options. So you're in this there's a word, antinomy. It's like when you've only got bad options, we have to choose the least worst one. You know, we're moving into that time, and so the idea of us expanding fossil fuel production at the same time as having these kinds of conversations, it just seems, you know, I can't.
There's no word in the language.
We don't have words for the sort of incomprehensibility of what's going on yet.
What would you say, I know you've probably said a lot about this before, what would you say about people who feel that like climate anxiety and feel like they don't know what to do or who to turn to? Or...
I would say to anyone with climate anxiety, turn to a movement. And there's plenty of them. We're not the only people in town. So there's loads of people with different like angles on things. Just find community work, find people, find your people, find like something to do with other people, because all of the evidence shows, and it's recognised now by psychologists and medics, that actually doing activism, having agency, is a massive antidote to what can be an overwhelming sense of despair. You know, and so it's deeply, deeply helpful for people to do this work together, and in that regard, it's also absolutely criminal that the government are trying to take away people's rights to protest, particularly for young people who really deserve to be able to go out and make as loud a noise as they want to about this shit. And taking away their agency in that way is extremely abusive on behalf of the government, actually.
We shouldn't trust the government. Should we trust the cops?
No, I wouldn't trust anyone apart from a popular people's movement right now. And what Antonio Guterres has said is we need to build grassroots movements that are impossible to ignore, which, you know, we're lucky in this country. We've got a well-established climate movement. We need to build it and grow it and keep on being ambitious to get bigger and more inclusive and more people out taking action together.
Awesome. Lastly, I would just say, do you think it's too late?
Well, last Rebellion we had some messaging that we worked on which said, you know, act now because it's too late, not before it's too late. And I think in some ways there is a real usefulness to recognising the very lateness that I don't know what else you can say, but because I don't think people are going to act like it's a crisis until they really believe it is. And so in some senses, you know, admitting that it's too late is what drives a lot of people to action. And I think, you know, people have said, oh, it's, you know, being doomist is dangerous and it can be damaging, but actually once we had this phrase at the beginning of the movement we liked, hope dies, action begins. It's like when you lose all hope that someone else is going to fix this, then you find your own personal courage to step up and say, I know that I have to be part of fixing this, and then you can find the courage to act. Then, ironically, then you get a bit of hope back. Do you see what I mean?
That's so true. That's so true.
But you have to earn it. You have to earn hope in these times.
Yeah, I feel like in taking action, you find your real identity, and your purpose is an extension of that. But yeah, I just want to say thanks.
Thank you.
And yeah, keep doing what you do. We're here to support you. So.
And you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, love.